our past or a series of events or a season, a particular period of time in our lives that for one reason or another we have not been able to mentally and emotionally process. To bring, this is a terrible word, but bear with me, to bring to kind of a point of closure where we can accept that it happened and not forget about it, but it kind of goes into the past. It becomes part of our history. Actually, trauma is when we're not able to do that. Sometimes I feel like it's like a person has got a bungee rope attached to them from a particular experience or a particular season of their life. And no matter how kind of far they go, it might be years or it might be even decades into the future, a particular experience, a particular distressing experience, and the bungee rope can snap and you can suddenly be kind of pulled all the way back into that terrible thing that happened to you, into the emotion and the feeling and the thoughts and the shame and all the difficult stuff that comes with it. Jesus has experienced what we experience. He has been through it. The first truth for those of us living with the reality of evil, with the reality of trauma in our lives, is that God knows exactly what you're going through. He's come into the middle of it. For all eternity, the experience of human suffering and death will be held within the heart of God. So the first thing for those of us that are living with the reality of life-altering, life-changing trauma is to discover is that we are not alone. He is not ashamed of what you've been through. He is not ashamed of you. He does not hold you guilty for what you've suffered. He does not hold it against you. In fact, the very opposite. He would love to come alongside you and stand with you right at the heart of what you've been through. When you become a Christian, and if you're not a Christian yet, if you're still working it out for yourself, you might be interested to know this is what happens. When you become a Christian, your old life, the person you were up to that point, this is the New Testament writers began to discover this with complete amazement and wonder. Your old life, the person you were up to that point, dies with Jesus at the cross, gets buried with him in the grave, and then a new you walks out of the tomb with him. The way they would talk about it was not just believing in Christ, but participating in Christ. Not just kind of having some belief that Jesus is up there and we believe in that, but actually being united into who he is and what he's done. The old you dies with him at the cross, is buried with him in the grave, and a new you walks out of the tomb with him. A new you that is being set free from all the junk, all the stuff, all the sin that was such a part of your life before. A new you that's filled with his Spirit, that's in the process of being made more like Jesus. A new you that lives deeply connected to the love of the Father. And there's the old you and the new you still have a little bit of a wrestling match, quite a lot of the time, I might add. But actually it's the new you that he is excited about. The real you, the one that is the true you that you were meant to be when he saw you before the creation of the world. We have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to come to the cross and hear Jesus say, "It is finished. It is done. It is over." He has paid for it all. And not only that you can go with him to that, be buried with him, and a new you can walk out of that